Scott Golden's up next. Why do you think the popularity of MMA does not make wrestlers focus more on selling rather than rushing transitions between strikes and spots?
Repeat that.
So he said, why do you think that the popularity of MMA has not, and I'll kind of reword a little bit, has not made wrestlers focus more on why selling is so important? Rather, they've decided to rush through transitions with their strikes and spots.
There is simply because it's not taught as much, and the storytelling aspect, the being able to go out and start a match and start it with the idea that somebody has to gain control and have that story, lay itself out. The first thing you have to do to be able to win a wrestling match is you have to gain control of your opponent and maintain control of your opponent. That's the storytelling part. That's and most guys, there is some validity to this, but there's not. But you have to, in our business, to allow the audience to figure out how they feel about you and your opponent. Is you have to slow down and give me facials, give me some opponent to opponent commentary, and I'm not talking about opponent to the audience. I mean, it would be real easy just to go down the aisle, step through the ropes, go over and single somebody out and chastise them and get a reaction. That's just cheap heat. That's not the real heat. That's not really getting over. You have to turn an audience on you, if that's the way you're going to go, by your actions and doing rotten things and taking advantage of the referee and the opponents. If it has a manager or has somebody else on the apron, you suck them in, and during that exchange you get a cheap shot in. All those things that go into the business. But you have to slow down. Everything has to have a reaction, action, reaction. If I'm nasty heel and there's my baby face that I want the audience to believe in, get behind, and I just like them. Some people just like Bobby Eaton, some people just have that thing about them that you like them, and I thump him in the nose, he better slap me. If I slap him, he better knock me on my ass. Baby faces, that's what they do. Mm-hmm. They one up the bad guy. And that way you always know they're in the fight. You always know that they're trying to do the right thing, but if this guy keeps messing with them, man, this is going to get bad. The storytelling part of our industry is you have to have enough time. That's why I say these kids are out there and, man, they're doing everything in the world, risking their life, limb, body, health, you name it, to try to entertain today's audience and give them some high wire act and all that. The thing that gets lost in the story is the selling and the storytelling, and me allowing the audience to settle down and go, okay, now let's watch this thing and let's get the good guy at a huge disadvantage that he has to overcome, so that if I do care about him, I want to get behind him. Key point, I wish there was more segment time for guys to tell their story. And you have to talk if you're going to connect with the audience. You have to be able to talk about what just happened and why it's fresh. I'm a big fan of a match concludes, loser rolls out, gets out of there, and while the intensity is up, you get a live interview right there. You get the live emotion.
Mm. Yeah, we don't see a lot of that either. That's a good point, but I like it. Hey, listen, we're sitting under the learning tree here today.